The walls exploded. Rocks shot past him in all directions. Groaning from somewhere deep within the ground beneath his feet threatened an even worse fate than being pulverized by the collapsing city. The race had finally come to an end. Despite all his hard work and standing up to a very wicked man, the falling city of Jericho was seconds away from ending all of the boy's hard work. Just an hour before, 12-year-old Jake Henry had been racing through the gigantic maze of stone houses and secret passages. He had fought bravely against the evil Kana, but didn't have the power to stand up against the forces of nature that were churning around him now. He managed a final burst of speed, but before he could jump out over a chasm where a house used to be, the ground disappeared from under his feet. He fell backward, down into the darkness of the broken earth. As he fell, Jake looked up and saw Kana looking out over the chasm. The evil one jumped and kept the sword out in front of his body. Jake could only guess that the villain was laughing. Jake crashed onto a pile of jagged stones. It was like diving backward into a concrete ocean. Stars of pain and light shot over the backs of his eyelids. Fire shot through his arms and legs. It felt like some invisible monster had squeezed his body and busted every bone, twice. All of these sensations mixed together and brought Jake a great deal of pain. The hurt washed over him like a tidal wave and carried him away from consciousness. Muted sounds of voices came to Jake through the rubble, the sounds of men seeking their prey. Angry and determined tones grew louder and clearer. "Here's another one!" But that didn't matter now, because Kana was right above Jake, blade extended, zooming down on him. Jake shut his eyes and screamed. Present day, North Carolina, 3:33 p.m. Jake stared out the side window of his parents' minivan. The Appalachian Mountains passed in a blur of hurried green streaks. He was supposed to be headed to camp with Danny, but that fell through when Danny's mom called saying that her only son had a 101-degree fever and wouldn't be going anywhere. Jake figured, incorrectly, that Danny's illness would translate into a skip camp pass for himself. No such luck. Here he was getting shuttled across northwest North Carolina to attend Oak Bay Camp, with nobody, for a whole week. Joy. "You should work on having a positive attitude," Jake's dad said from behind the steering wheel. "When I was your age, I would have given a lot of money to be able to go to summer camp." Jake bit his tongue. He wanted to tell his father that he'd be more than happy to trade places, but he didn't want to be disrespectful. He knew his parents paid big money for him to attend camp. "I just don't know anybody." The mountains slowed down, and the blur of color became clear shades of hunter and forest green. Endless stands of red maple and white pine trees lined the highway like soldiers, standing guard in front of the mountains rising behind them. "We've talked about that, honey," his mother said. Jake saw the huge camp sign come into view as the van made the right turn into Oak Bay. He wanted to try once again to talk his mother out of sending him here, but instead he just exhaled loudly. "Your mother's right, son. You'll meet a friend, maybe even 2 or 5. An older man stood next to the gatehouse and waved for the Henrys to stop. Jake's mom rolled her window down. "Camper?" "Jake Henry." The old man looked back at Jake before consulting his mega list of names. Henry. Oh, yes, here it is. "Jake, you'll be in cabin 33 over on Karankawa Hill. Just follow this drive all the way to the end. 33 will be on your right. If you go into the lake, you've gone too far." No one laughed except for the old man. He waved them on, looking at Jake the whole time as the van passed.